All right, live fire practice tonight. A couple things. I changed out the optic. Last weekend I had to use the Romeo X. I was hoping to use the EOTech. It didn't get back in time from getting fixed, so had to go with the Romeo X. Not ideal. It's got the thicker housing walls. It's a smaller optic, so I didn't struggle necessarily finding that, but I had some difficulty with some of the different positions I was getting into dealing with that. uh, my SIG Pro Max will be here in like a week and a half or so. So I'm excited to get that. But for now, I got the EOTech Flex back, or the eFlex, and I'm going to be using this one. Thinner housing wall, bigger window. So hopefully it shouldn't be an issue. But I want to get some reps with that. And then, just some things that I wanted to work on with this dry fire session is uh, you know, not competing in 2 years. I really found myself struggling, and not like I found myself jerky. I wasn't fluid. I kind of went in there. The biggest problem was going in there thinking I could do things that I wasn't ready for. Thinking that I was at a different level, and that I didn't shoot my game. I had a long conversation with my buddy who was there with me. Just didn't shoot my game. Would have scored higher if I did, but it was a great humbling experience. Like, oh crap, dude! Like, you got to do some. We got to really hone in the fire or the dry firing and the live ranges, and just keep doing more and more of these competitions. Obviously, just to get back normal. I was just a little jerky out there. I wasn't as fluid as I wanted to be. Um, and really getting into the stage planning, like really focusing on that and letting the shooting be what the shooting is, if that makes sense. um, but really wanted to work on some of that tonight. So one of the biggest things is just drawing with this, uh, getting used to this dot just in case I have to use it. And then uh, a couple classifiers that I wanted to do better on. The one-handed, switching. uh, had trouble with, I don't do that. I mean, I don't like doing it. I don't practice it enough. But that's something that I have to, it's a gameism that I have to get used to. And, switching hands and shooting offhand. I got to be able to find the dot a little better, and then just have more confidence shooting that. But That's one thing. And then just kind of like the transitions, making sure I'm focusing on those. And other than that, like my shots were good. Uh, just getting back into it, honestly. So let's get into this dry fire. All right. So one thing I am going to be training on more and more of is, man, that's such a nice difference from the X, is shooting longer ranges, right? So I'm going to be training at a further distance than I normally would, at a competition or anything like that. Just in general, I think training at distance is a big advantage, because if you can do it at distance, you can obviously do it up close. And I think it enhances, it stimulates the mind more. And in my opinion, it makes you hyper focus instead of just kind of throwing those short shots or short shots. So I think, for me, how my brain works, it makes me hyper focus, and it makes me kind of more conscious of what I'm doing. So I think that's going to be put into the training plan this week when I go to the live fire range. And hopefully it pays off. But we have to change up our training program just a tad bit, just from what I saw out there, and adjust. I mean, it's all adjusting. See, that's just so much better. I mean, I'm not a fan of EOTech anything. This is the only product that I've somewhat decently liked from EOTech, but um, I refuse to use their 1-6. What is it? The Venom? No, not. I think it is the Venom. Their 1-6 is terrible. Their regular optics are terrible. I'll never buy one. But I purchased the E-Flex, and I actually like it, so take that for what it's worth. I mean, I'm not going to say the EOTech, like the regular EOTech rifle optics aren't, like, they're good. It's just, it's too much for me to, I like a single dot. I'm not a big fan of all that going on in their window. What is it, the 32 or 64 MOA circle with the dot in there? And then if it's at this distance, you aim, I mean, I get it, but when you illuminate that reticle, it's a lot going on. I'm a simple brain. I like simple things, and a simple dot is good. Anything out the distance, I have a 1:6 Vortex razor, so I love the Vortex razor HG Gen 2. I could take that out to like 700. Well, I've taken it out to 715. It's kind of wishy-washy at that range, but definitely 600, and it's really good for those longer distances with AR. Another thing I've noticed in some of the videos was when I was shooting, I was super, I wasn't nervous. I was too reserved. I felt too reserved, and I wasn't taking control of my shooting. It's just a natural human instinct, kind of something you're getting back into. You're going to be kind of reserved. But I felt when I was coming out to shoot, I was really, I don't lock out, but I might have been a little too in and just letting the gun control me a little too much. I need to punch out just a little bit more and be a little more aggressive towards the target. I was really reserved on my presentation and my shots, I think. So really wanting to go back and take control. I mean, to be honest with you, this whole process is transparency. So I wanted to leave after stage 3. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. It was, I was going through a dark spot there. I was terrible. I was definitely going through a dark spot. And I just had to buckle down, man. I had a long walk with myself, and on the next stage, I was like, dude, you got to get yourself together here. Like, and we started doing a lot better, but yeah, to see that a little more aggressive towards that. And I really like, so tomorrow I should be going to the range. We'll zero this up, and then we'll get training on it. All right, let's get in some cross steps here. So getting our feet placement, right foot in front, left foot, so we can cross over, and we're moving left. So the reason why I'm moving my draw leg is because it sets me up for the movement left instead of coming in left foot plant and then right foot plant and then breaking down. So we want to make sure we're moving at all times, especially if they're close targets. So boom, and then we're off. I found myself a lot too, like thinking about that second shot instead of cracking and going towards everything next. I was thinking about that and looking at my hits instead of like just like that was kind of like what I said, like letting the shots be what they are. Like you got to run the stage. You got to be thinking about your stage plan instead of the shooting aspect. Like that's a let the shooting be the shooting. You can adjust the shots, um, but that shouldn't be what you're looking at. Or that's not what you should be focused on during the round or during the stage. So that was one thing I got to be conscious of. Man, that's so much better. This optic is making actually a massive difference. I was like, I wasn't as confident going into it. With that Romeo X, I wasn't really putting a big emphasis on it in my dry firing and my live fires leading up to, but goodness. It was, I definitely wasn't confident with it. We're still going to cross left over right to get our feet set up for travel. All right. And typically, like, I don't know if you watch the other videos, typically, I'm a big component of like, like squaring yourself up to the shot. In competition, you're just not going to, it's just not going to happen. And that's something, wrapping your brain around. Like I'm a big component of that, like getting squared up to the target and setting yourself up for the best shot possible. But in the competition world, it's not like that. It's always like going on to the next move. And the shots aren't usually that far unless you're, last week we shot at, 3-inch steel plates and pretty decent shots. Like, went to war with a couple of them. But you want to you don't have a lot of time to set up on those. If you do, you're going to waste a lot of time. But the thing is like, teaching rifle, I'm a big component of getting behind the shot to mitigate the recoil and things like that. But it competition is just so different, and I got to kind of prep my brain for that. I mean, it translates to combat shooting or whatever you want to call it, defensive shooting with a rifle. But it depends on what strings you're shooting. Are you just going to throw a 1 or 2 at somebody? Like then you can be off balance. Like, but shooting a bunch of rounds, like, and you're going to be accountable for those shots. That's a different story for me, because typically we're accountable for every shot we throw. Competition, you can get away with that. So you're out there like, and a lot of guys are just doing PCC. So like PCC is just like flicking rubber bands out there. It's not even, it's not even, you don't even call it recoil. It's just, you can shoot off of 1 foot upside down and hit your target. It's really crazy. So right now we're going to still stay with our right foot back, left foot forward. crossover, bop, bop, transition, and then go. Do like variation transitions, high, low, high, straight across. Low, high, there's a couple that was like with a no shoot in the middle. I got to break out of that. I got to break out of that. I got to just break down and run. All right. Low, high, transition, move. Low, transition, move. Do that one again. I'm going to do a couple draws. One of the classifiers was 3 targets, 2 shots at each with no shoots. Half A zone was covered on all 3. So 2-2-2 reload, 2-2-2 that, and then you'd redo it 2-2-2 freestyle, and then switch left hand 2-2-2. So just picking up the dot. I'm going to do like a farther away target. Picking up the dot with the dominant and non-dominant hand was a little bit of my trouble. It was actually a spin too. Hands on the ears. All right. Then you do the same thing. So that was good. I picked up the dot each time. So the left hand was a little more difficult, just because like I said, I wasn't used to it. And obviously the recoil that comes with that, you got to be strong. I don't think it's a huge advantage of you see a lot of people bang bang and then they get their body in position. I don't think it's a huge, obviously that's how you want to shoot one-handed. I get that. But for competition, I don't know if it plays a huge role. Maybe we can test that out on the live range. Like, are my shots better if I take the time to set my body posture up? Bang, 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 bang. I don't think it does, because it's one-handed shooting, right? Like, I'm just going to reload and then punch out, keep a strong arm, and then just try to do you just try to do your best with one hand. But I'm willing to put that on the clock and then see my accuracy as well. Obviously, if you have the time set up and get your body posture in the right way. But I don't think there's a huge difference. Like, I don't think right there where I reload, I don't think, and then I take a step forward and really, that takes up too much time. And honestly, I didn't see anybody doing it. And then it just doesn't make sense for me, so. I just wanted to, I actually should probably reload. Let me do that actually. All right, then we'll go support hand here, or off hand. Definitely catching the dot a lot more than I did in the comp. All right, so we'll go back to right hand, or strong hand. Pushed up. Helps me with my reloads a little more. You get a little more, or obviously keep getting better at those. The transition to the left hand or the off hand is a little more difficult. So you don't have like I didn't have a strong grip on that one, so I just sent it anyway. But if you're trying to score, you just have to, you got to run what you got. All right, support hand. I don't know why, like, you just get in like a weird mode where like your body just does something that like, I've never done. Like, it just like my arm went up here. It was just like, yeah, your body does what it wants to do sometimes, but I don't think that's bad. I was just, you kind of want to just tuck that support hand in, or you want to do something with it. You don't want to just dangle there. So that's fine. All right. Those seem a lot better. Feels a lot better than on the weekend. That transition to the support hand is pretty key. All right, last one. Yeah, and then see very weak, especially on the weak hand grip. Like that's weak. That's not going to get me back on target faster, but that's why we practice it and just mess it up and continue to get better at it. So, all right, let's get into the next thing. All right, so I'm actually just going to end it with some hands above shoulders with a spin. Like I felt good on those ones. I just want to make sure that that's like really set in stone for me. You do get a lot of starts like that, so uh, just making sure that I'm not, when I spin, I'm not, spinning like or jumping. I want to make sure I'm in control of that spin, and so I put myself in the best body posture. Um, if you go, you don't want to like uh, non non pistol side spinning this way. Like I feel like I'll do it a couple times just to see, but I feel like you're spinning too much on that right foot, and you're banking on momentum to stop you, and it's a little more unpredictable than spinning uh, uh, holster side. Um, and then it just goes into the thing that people always say is like you don't want to move your holster, your draw side, but in competition it just seems like you're going to have to set yourself up the best way possible. So I'll do it a couple way, like a couple other ways, just to see, but I think I'm gonna stick with spinning on holster side. Yeah, see, like it does put you in that natural shooting position, but like I said, when you turn, you're really banking on spinning on that back foot, and then your foot's got to plant to stop momentum. So I feel like that might be a little problem, right? So let's go ahead and do that again, just to. Yeah, like let's do holster side, and then I'll give feedback. I want to give it a fair go. But all my training leading up to this has been holster side. The only thing I see with this one, like you might not get the best, hip squared up to the target, but typically when you're spinning, it seems to me like I think it's just a classifier and things like that. So you're just standing in one spot anyway, so you don't have to set yourself up too much. But the holster side, it allows you to, as long as you get down here and you're not like swinging, like you're not swinging out, you stay rigid here and you pull, you're already drop stepping, coming up, and you're pretty much squared up. So I like that a lot better. So I recommend that. Like we said with the spinning off non-holster side, you have to really swing open, and you're going to be moving that back foot. So as you draw, you might flare. So that's an issue. So you might not get a clean draw, but spinning that way, and then you're really wanting to, like you're trying to pick a spot to like stop momentum. And then you got to spin foot. It just seems a little better on the holster side. So that's all I'm going to be doing is holster side. I know I went into a little bit of depth there, but I wanted to make sure we're practicing the right things that feels right for me. All right. Just because it feels good for me or I'm saying this doesn't mean it's not you. So please don't get wrapped around the axles around like, well, everybody does this, but if it doesn't feel good for you and the other way does, stick with it. Just know that there could be a better way out there. That's kind of like the whole deal with shooting in general is like, you know, when we teach people things, it's like, hey, you're doing this, I can make you good at that. There is a better way, but if you feel more comfortable doing that, then do you. Like, try not, like, don't be put in a box that people want to put you in. Like, it's like going to get a haircut. It's like, find an instructor that's going to work with what you got, make you better. Okay, give you tips on better techniques, but if they don't feel good, it's his job to make you good at what you're doing and what you feel comfortable with. So there's a compromise. Like, I'm not going to make you me. I'm going to take what you are, give you some tips to do better, get you faster at what you're comfortable with. If this is not okay with you, like that right there is like the way instructing should go, in my opinion. I'm not going to try to make you a me because you're not. We're all different. But not a lot of people think that way. They think it's done this way and it's done that way, and if you have to, if you're going to do it, you got to do it, and it's not. That's not the case. Man, I can't wait to get the Pro Max, man. Like, it's an even bigger window than the E-Flex, so I'm gonna be. I feel like I'm gonna be super confident come next match, which is gonna be this weekend. Like, I haven't lost dot yet, and I was losing it quite a bit with the Romeo Max or Romeo X. A little late on the draw there, but we still got it. I could spin my feet just a little bit more. Try to do that. Yeah, that's a lot better. It's got to be a little more aggressive, swing it a little more. Do a couple more of those and then we're going to call it. It's almost 10 o'clock. I'm still running this Legion stock. I haven't upgraded the trigger, which we're probably going to put a gray ghost in it. Or there's another one. Shoot, I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm going to try both just for testing purposes and, you know, kind of do a review on them. So if people are looking at it, the one that we're looking at is $90, and then the gray ghost is, man, 150, 100, something like that. So definitely significant in price. Almost tripped on my own shoe. I gotta be careful on that. So yeah, I mean, like, but they're great reviews on both of them, so I'm anxious to try out both. Be like, hey, this budgeted one is even better, so it saves you almost $100. One more good one here. All right, that completes the dry fire sesh. Appreciate you sticking around. Appreciate the support. Like, people commenting. We're going to be getting some more footage for the competition this weekend. I'm actually going to buy like one of those tall stands so we can get some good aerial view. But hopefully that we can get that before the first or the next competition. Again, this is a pretty big like transparency deal with me here. It's very difficult. And like I said, it's going to test my mental fortitude, and it's going to be more difficult than I expected, which is great. I'm up for the challenge. I committed to this, but it's going to be no walk in the park, and it. I don't like to admit it, but um, it's been very eye opening, honestly, and very. Uh, it's gonna test me, and I don't like how I performed, but that's like the beauty of it. Like, it's a struggle going up, and I just have to accept that, and it's gonna make me. It's like you're kind of in this place of like, are you gonna stop? Because a lot of people would. Am I gonna stop doing this? Am I going to like, this is too hard? I can't do that, and trying to allow this following, like allow people to keep me accountable. That's a big deal for me too. So I got to push on. I got to get better. I want this for myself, and I can't let it get me down just because I didn't perform the way I wanted to. That's that's not okay. And teaching my kids the same thing. The lessons that come through this, like, even though you're older, and it's not for anything. I'm not trying to be a world champion or anything like that. I'm just setting a goal, and I'm going to achieve it through hard work and struggle. And if that's a lesson that I can share with my kids and all that, then I'm winning at that, because that's a huge thing that I preach to them. You finish what you start, and I'm sorry, I'm going kind of on a little thing, but that's just kind of how I'm feeling right now, and I felt really bad after that first tournament. So it's it was very eye opening. So before I ramble on more, I just kind of want you to kind of know where I'm going with my thoughts, and how I'm processing all this information. It's tough, but um, got some good sleep, and refocus. We're on a new week. Refocus on this training this week. Get back into the competition. Throw myself right back into the fire, and hopefully come out a little more successful this time. And just keep working at that goal. Keep chipping it away at it. So this is going to be a marathon, even though I want it to be a sprint. So I have to shoot my game. I have to calm myself down, and just know where I'm at now, and work harder to get to where I think I should be and where I know I can be. So I appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who's following this, and I'll probably see you on the range tomorrow. If not, we'll be back dry firing. So, all right, have a good one. See you on the next one.